bringing you family-friendly content.
With a focus on
married life.
So I was gonna put my fingers up your nose. Oops.
Today we're going to talk about the juggling act that is your marriage, you dirtbag. There's only so much that you can handle. It's important to know your limits, and in your marriage, it's important to know the things that you can say yes to and successfully keep in the air and juggle, and the things that you cannot successfully deal with and have in your marriage. Everyone's a little bit different, but you need to know your limits and your capabilities. For instance, Amy can juggle 1 apple.
Barely.
Throw her 2, and she just barely caught it. And she can... Pretty poor attempt at juggling. But throw her 3, it's a mess.
Oh, I almost did it! Did you see that?
Yeah. How could I miss? Almost knocked me out.
Oh, I did it! I never did that before. Okay, now I'm gonna teach you how to juggle.
Go for it. So you can see it's not easy.
No.
Amy has a hard time keeping 3 apples in the air, and that's just the way it is. It's going to take practice. And some of you are frustrated because you're not doing it like somebody else. Like, if you're looking at someone else's marriage and it's like this, you can be like, well, why can't I have a marriage like that?
Such a show off.
Why can't I have a marriage like that? You know, what am I doing wrong? Well, it takes time. It takes persistence. It takes practice to do things well, and your marriage is no different. You have to give it time. You have to take time to work at it.
And don't fool yourself, because some people are juggling a lot of things and they can appear to be okay, but really their marriage is suffering. When you're like, we're back to work now, and being back to work means, you know, long days,
lunches for the kids.
Lunches, oh my word. Making lunches for the kids, and then suppers, and homework, and housework, and the volunteer stuff that we do, and all of this stuff.
And a YouTube channel.
And a YouTube channel. So all of these things now, what we had during COVID was like 1. And now we have a lot of things that we're trying to juggle, and it's really important, and we've learned this, is to say no to some things.
Yes.
So that we can make time.
I mean, no.
So that we can make time for each other and for our kids, because you don't want your marriage or your family to suffer because you can't say no.
Yeah, the power of no. So super powerful.
Ooh, power of no.
The power of no. I oohed you. Last week you oohed me. This week I oohed you. But if I am given 1 more apple, my juggling capabilities fall apart instantly. Here's what happens. I can't even, like, I barely held on to one thing. And that's the problem. You're juggling, you get something else thrown at you, and bam, you barely hang on, if at all, to the original thing you had. And we see that a lot. We experience the same thing.
Yeah.
We're busier now, we have lots of things happening, and we have to make sure that we're juggling what we're capable of juggling. If you can juggle 1 apple, and that's all you can do,
that's okay.
then that's fine. That's what you have to do. And then as things get added in, you will learn how to deal with more things, but there's a limit. The best juggler in the world has a limit. There's only so many things you can keep in the air before everything comes tumbling down.
You really don't know how much you can juggle until you start juggling
Until
too
you're tossed
much,
an apple.
and you're like, oh shoot, I can't juggle this many things. And by then you're already into something, and then trying to back out of stuff, and all that stuff. It can be very difficult then to back out of things. But what you don't want to back out of is this.
Right.
You don't want to back out of this. You don't want to back away from your kids. This is your foundation. This is your environment. This is your safe place, and everything else, you know, can take a back seat.
Yeah, as long as you're juggling your marriage,
everything else will be okay.
make sure that you understand the limits of what your marriage can handle. Learn how to say no. Juggle the things that you need to juggle and that you're capable of keeping in the air successfully. And don't worry about anyone else and their act, and don't worry about what they're doing, and don't worry about, you know, if you drop one, pick it up and keep going. The thing is that you don't quit. You keep working at it, and realize there's a certain amount of skill that it takes in order for a marriage to be successful. It's not just random. It takes skill to do anything, and for some reason we think that marriage is like something different, that just happens on its own. But it doesn't happen on its own. You have to do the work. You have to practice it every single day in order to get better at it. And anything you're passionate about, you'll put the time into making it work.
During COVID, a lot of couples, including us, were able to stop everything else. We couldn't work, couldn't go out, couldn't do anything. So here we are at home, and what do? Thankfully, we love each other and we love our kids, and we ended up having a whole lot of fun. But in that time, it was a really good time for us to be able to say, wow, we're juggling a lot of stuff. Do we need to be juggling this much stuff? Or do we want to juggle a little bit less so that we have more time to spend together and to do things and to have fun together and play with the kids and all that fun stuff? But it was a matter of looking at what you're holding on to. What are you juggling? And again, it can be good stuff, but is it the right stuff for you to be doing?
Oh.
Ow!
That was on. I didn't mean that.
It's so easy to go through the motions, and we've been juggling things for years. The same things you're juggling, and you can just assume now that that's normal to juggle, when really maybe there's some things that you need to let go of. And it takes that time of reflection to say, wait a second, I don't need to be juggling this. I don't need this. And separate that stuff.
Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoy our content, please consider subscribing, give a thumbs up, leave a comment, all that other fun YouTube-y stuff. But hopefully you're just encouraged and you go about juggling the things in your marriage that you're capable of, and the other things, chuck them.
Let them go.
Let them go.
Break your back.
No, you're not going to break my back.
Are you
Yeah.
sure?
My hands are dirty and you have white pants on.
Someone get down, please.